Hello, grade threes, and welcome to our virtual classroom. I am so excited to finally get to talk to you and for you to see my face. It's kind of weird that I can't see any of your faces, but I'm pretending. Now, to prove to you that it's still me, I'm still the same teacher, I'll tell you about this hilarious thing that I just did. I recorded a 20-minute long video doing this lesson to you, but I thought that when it recorded, everything would look backwards because the screen that I'm looking at is backwards. So I wrote all of the letters, everything was backwards, so it looked perfect on the screen. And then I went to watch the video and it was just everything was backwards. So I didn't have to change everything. So here I am recording the video again. Anyway, so today we are going to keep going with our 3-digit addition. I know it seems like a very long time ago and we worked on this before we left the school. So hopefully you remember, I'm sure you do. It really wasn't hard. It's nothing completely new. We've done most of this before. And if it is hard, you know what? We'll just keep working at it. We've got time. Don't worry about that. So for this lesson, you will need a paper, like a lined piece of paper, and a pencil. So I'll just wait a second for you to get that. Ready? If you're not ready, just pause the video. I'm going to keep going. So when we last left off, we were working on adding using, we were collecting hundreds, tens, and ones to add 3-digit numbers. If you remember, we were using the blocks. And we would add one 3-digit number to another 3-digit number, and then we would trade blocks. Remember, if we had too many ones, we'd have to trade for a 10. Or if we had too many 10s, we had to trade for a 1 to make one big number. Sometimes it went into the thousands even, but that was what we worked on last. So hopefully you remember. If not, sorry, I'm just playing. There we go. If not, that's okay. We have time to figure that out. But today we're going to move on to adding, with lining up the numbers, which is something we did with 2-digit addition, and I'm sure you're all going to do great with 3-digit addition. So the first thing I want to review is our hundredths column, our tens column, and our ones column. Remember, only hundreds are allowed in the hundreds club, only tens are allowed in the tens club, and only ones are allowed in the ones club. They don't allow any other members. It's exclusive. So we're going to try a question just right off the bat to see how we do. So please follow along in your notes. If you'd like to take a second and write out this chart, I think that would be a really good way for you to line up the numbers just for this first question. So just take a second. If you need to pause the video, that's okay. Write this little chart down nice and neat, and then we'll get right to it. Okay, so the first number I'm going to add is 312. In the number 312, I have 3 hundreds, 1 10, and 2 ones. So they go in their columns. Then I need to add my plus sign, my addition sign, because we're adding. And then I'm going to add my next number, which is 424. There. See, same teacher. There, all done. Am I done? No, I'm missing something. I'm missing the equals sign. This line, it means equals. It's going to be the same for subtraction. It's going to be the same for multiplication. It's going to be the same for division. So you always need to have this equals sign. That means 312 plus 424 equals. It's very important. So make sure you write that down. All right. So I'm not sure if you remember, but I'm going to ask anyway, which column do we start with? Whoa, you're right. The ones column. We always start with the ones column. That way, if we have to trade any of these numbers, then we can. So I'm going to start with my ones column. I have 2 and I have 4. You're right, it's 6. I put 4 in my head and I counted up. 4, 5, 6. 6 goes in my ones column. Do I have to trade anything? No, I've got 6 ones in the ones club. Perfect. Now let's move on to tens. 2 plus 1. Whoa, you don't have to yell. Oh, so 1 plus 2, 2 plus 1. We can all do that as 3. Good job. All right, and then my last hundreds, my hundreds column, the last one, I have 3 and I have 4. 3 plus 4. If I put 4 in my head because it's the bigger number, 4, 5, 6, 7. Good job, everyone. Okay, now remember, I always say when you're done a math question, you say, does this make sense? And there's not an exact way to check, but there is a little bit of a way to check. If you just look at your hundreds column and you have 3 and a 4, that means I have 300 and 400. Well, I already know that 300 plus 400 equals 700. So does this answer make sense? Yeah, it does. So if I had a 3 and a 4 here, and then my answer down here was 1, you got to ask yourself, does that make sense? Could the answer only be 100 if we're adding 3 and 4? No, it couldn't be 1. So if you ask yourself, does this make sense? You're going to be like, oh no, not at all. I got to fix that. And then you're going to look to your sign and say, oh, I subtracted, and also it was upside down. Awesome. Okay, let's move on to a trickier one. So you're going to go down under this question or beside this question, wherever you have room, and you're going to write these numbers down too. If you want to write the ones, tens, hundreds column again, you're more than welcome to. Just pause the video, write that down, and you can keep going with us. All right, our next question is 528 plus 275 equals, good. She got that equal sign. It's really important. Okay, now I gotta start in my ones column again. And now I have some big numbers in my ones column, but that's okay because we can still do it. I have an 8 and a 5, and I'm gonna sneeze. Oh, thank you. I know you said bless you. I have an 8 and a 5. I'm going to put the 8 in my head. 8. I'm going to count up 5. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 8 plus 5 is 13. But does the 13 belong in the ones column? Can there be 13 ones in the ones club? I hope you're all yelling no. Because we have a tens. There's a 10 in 13. There's one tens rod in the 13. So we have to take it out and put it in the club that it belongs in. It belongs over here in our tens club. So now I have 7 plus 2 plus 1. Now in my head, it's easier to add the 2 and the 1 first, which everybody knows is 3. Yes, 3. 3 plus 7. Well, I know that 3 and 7 make 10. I know that off the bat. But if I don't, I can always put 7 in my head. 7, 8, 9, 10. Uh-oh. Does that really mean 10? Does that make sense? No. Because really, this is 10. This little one is a 10 plus 20 plus 70. So 10 plus 20 plus 70 is 100. Are we allowed to have any hundreds in the tens column? No. So how many hundreds do I have? I have 1 extra 100. And I have no tens. And that's okay. 0 holds its place. 0 is important. So I'm going to move that 100 over to the hundreds club. And he goes on to the 5. So now I have 1 plus 5 plus 2. And again, I'm going to add 1 and 2 together because that's easier. So 2 plus 1 is 3. 3. And then I'm going to add my 5. So I have 5 and 3. And that makes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8. Now my answer is 803. I think we are right. Good job, everybody. All right, one more tricky one before we get to our sheet. So I have now 736 plus 484 4 equals, okay. Why don't you take a second and try this on your own? Pause the video and try to do this one on your own with the carrying and the borrowing. Oh, not borrowing, sorry. Regrouping, carrying the ones, and then we'll check back. Okay, so pause. Okay, now let's check your answer. Let's see if you were right. So if you started with your ones column, you would have had a 6 and a 4. Well, I know that 6 and 4 is 10 because they are friendly numbers, they make 10. But if we don't know that off the bat, that's totally okay. We're gonna put 6 in our head and count up 4. So 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Perfect. I have a 10, but I know that I can't have the 10 in the ones club, so automatically that does not go there. It goes up here, beside my 3. Now it doesn't make this 13, that will make the answer wrong. It goes on top. I just can't do that because I have the 10s word right there. So this is actually 1 plus 3 plus 8. 1 plus 3 plus 8. So I'm going to put the 1 and the 3 together, and 1 plus 3 is 1 plus 3 is 4. 4 plus 8. Once again, I'm going to put the big number in my head. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12. So can I have this 1 down here? No, because the 1 is actually 100. So the 1 has to carry on and live on top of the 7. It has to be in the hundreds club. So now I have 1 plus 7 plus 4. I'm going to add 4 and 1, which is 5. Yeah, 5 plus 7. So 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Oh. Is that okay? Yeah, it is okay because we didn't write it down, but there's another club over here. Anybody know what that's called? It's called the thousands club. And in grade 3, you get to learn about the thousands club. Wow, my writing has not gotten better. So this 1 belongs in the thousands club. Now, some of you might try to add this 1 to the 2 to make it 3, but that's not what we do. The 1 holds its own place in the thousands club. So if you got the answer 320, I want you to think about that. The 1 from the 12 has to go in the thousands club because it's a totally different number. Also, if you had gotten a 3 down here because you added 2 and 1, I want you to think to yourself, does this make sense? Can it be 320? If I have, ooh, this is high. If I have 736 stickers and I add 484 stickers, can I have 320 stickers? No, you got ripped off. I don't know what happened, but you didn't lose that many because 300 is a smaller number than both of these numbers, and we're adding. So if you got 320, ask yourself, does this make sense? And we're adding, so the number can't get smaller, so no, it doesn't make sense. It makes sense to have over 1,000 stickers, which is a lot. Okay, I hope that made sense. It went really well on my end. So now we are going to work on a sheet, and it is the sheet that's in your packet. It should be the first one, and it looks like this. So adding another way, and on the top of the sheet, Miss Dennis wrote, let's do this together, which is what we're gonna do. I just have to get my document camera all figured out. It's actually an iPad, so just give me a second while you're getting this out. Our goal is the same, so solve addition problems by regrouping as you add. So we are gonna look at this first question, number 1A says add. And remember, we're gonna start in our ones column. So what's really nice about this book is that it made boxes for us. It's a grid. So it's easy to see where our ones column is, where our tens column is, and where our hundreds column is. Again, my writing's so messy, but I think you can read it. So let's try our ones column here. We have an 8, and we have a 5. So let's put 8 in our head. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. All right, so I have 13 like that, but is that allowed? Can we have a 10 in the ones column? Nope. So we're getting rid of it, and it goes on top of this one. Remember, not beside it. It doesn't make it 11. It adds on top. So I have a 1 plus a 1 and a 7. 1 plus 1 is 2, and then a 7. So 7, 8, 9. Okay, and then I have a 6 over here. 6 and blank. 6 plus nothing. Anybody? Does anybody know what 6 plus nothing is? Oh yeah, you did answer. It was 6. You're right. So my answer should be 693. Good job. Okay, friends, I'm going to do B with you, and then I'm going to let you loose to do your own work for the last 3 questions. So let's look at B. I have 834 plus 106. Again, if you want to write your ones, tens, hundreds, because that's helping you, you totally can. I'm not going to do that this time. So I have in my ones column, it's where I go first. I have a 4, and I have a 6. 4 plus 6, or 6 plus 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And I know that a 10 can't go in the tens club, so when I have 10, that means I have 0 ones, so 0 has to be put down there. 0 holds a place. And then the 1 goes right on top of that 3. And you know what? We could even use this whole box for the 1. That's why it's there, I think. So now I have a 1, a 3, and a 0. 1 plus 3, everybody? Whoa, good job, 4. All right, did anything have to carry over? No, not this time, good. Now I have an 8, and I have a 1. 8 plus 1, 8, 9, good work. Okay, 940. Does that make sense? Yes, yes it does. Because if I have 800 plus 100, I know it's going to be around 900. 940 fits that. Always look at your sign. If you're subtracting on any of these, it's not going to be right. So be careful. Okay, so now we're going to go to C, and you're going to do this on your own. You have 428 plus 276. So you're going to just work through these each. And if you have to carry a 1, put it up here. If you don't, then just move on. Okay, and then you're going to go down to D, 259 plus 368. And that one will be the same. Just work through it. Work through your ones, work through your tens, work through your hundreds. If you're still having trouble, go back to the start of the video, watch it again to make sure you're getting the right answers here. Then you're going to use Lena's idea to figure out 321 plus 199. I know that we don't know who Lena is because she was probably some girl in the textbook, which you don't have, so that's okay. So actually, I think this is Lena, now that I'm looking at it. Kind of looks a little creepy, but there she is. She knows that 321 plus 199, so this question, is close to 321 plus 200. What did Lena do to 199 to get to 200? You're right. She added 1. So why don't you guys go ahead and do that? When you get to this question, you're going to go 321 plus 200. See if you can get an answer. And then the question says, how did Lena's idea to change the number to this make it easier to add? Why is this easier to add than this? Why is that easier? So in a couple sentences down here, tell me how it's easier and why. You should have both of those answers. Then, once you are done, I'd love it if your parents or you you can do this too. We'll take a picture and post it in our Google Classroom, and that will show me how you're understanding this. Tomorrow we'll work on some more practice, but for now, that's our lesson. Stop sharing so you can see my beautiful face. There we go. I don't know how we're gonna get used to this. But anyway, that was a really good lesson, you guys. I hope that you understood. I hope you had fun. Well, there'll be some like this every week. You'll get to see me talking to an empty room, pretending you're there. I miss you guys a lot. I hope you enjoyed our video and you have a really good day. Bye, grade 3.